Welcome to Restoration of Spirit. I'm Janet Cole. Today we're going to teach you how to have a Hobo Riche Christmas. That's right, how to decorate rich for the holidays on a limited budget. By definition, restoration of spirit is getting back to the life we were meant to live. We do this primarily in two ways, through self-care and self-discovery. And once we learn what our dreams and our passions are, some of us need a jump start to change. Restoration of spirit is about learning to discover and having the courage to live your dreams. Only through our passion can we live a life of joy. Today I'm going to take you somewhere unexpected to get a great Christmas tree at a great price and grab some other decorations while we're there. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to decorate, including the tree, from the very top all the way to the bottom. And then we're going to make some great, inexpensive Christmas gifts using unexpected objects you already have at home. So let's go shopping. Karen, the resident tree expert at Home Depot, and she's going to give us some Christmas tree shopping tips.
Yes.
So what is the first thing that we need to look for when shopping for a Christmas tree?
Well, you need to know what height you need your tree to be, because what spot you're going to have your tree in, that would determine what that height is. So we have shorter trees and we have a lot taller trees. So you need to know your spot, where you're going to put your tree. Then we have several different kinds of trees, and we have a price range of $17.98 and up to $99 and a little bit higher than that. So
okay, great.
Different kinds of trees.
Okay, so other than your height, what's the next thing you need to know? Like, how do we know that a tree is fresh and that it's not going to, start dropping needles the second we get it home?
Well, we know our trees are fresh because we get them locally from Michigan, so we know when our trees come in, they haven't been on the truck very long. So we have fresh cut trees.
So that's good to know that Home Depot is a sustainable option, because
exactly.
A lot of the corner lots, while they might be more romantic to go to for your Christmas tree, import them from Canada or even from the South, whereas Home Depot gets them locally. So that's
right.
Also another plus.
And ours costs less.
That's why we're here. Okay, so size,
right?
Being sustainable,
right? And as I said, there are different kinds of trees. They have different needles. Some are longer needles, some are shorter. People have preferences for that, so you need to look at the different kinds of trees and decide which kind you like. Right. And you also need to know whether you have a Christmas tree stand, because if you don't, you're going to need one for a real tree.
Right. Well, that's another good reason to come to Home Depot, because you've got all of the hardware supplies that you need. So
exactly.
What should somebody get besides the Christmas tree stand? Is there anything else, any tools or things like that we might need?
You don't really need a tool. We'll give you a fresh cut and we'll cut off the bottom branches. Whatever you need, we can take care of here. And we'll bag it for you. We'll net it for you.
Oh, okay, that's handy.
For transport. But we do sell a Christmas tree bag, which I highly recommend to put under your stand. So when you take the tree out to dispose of it, you don't get the needles all over your house.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You just pull it up. It's like a big bag.
Okay. So it hides under the skirt,
right, exactly.
And then you can just bag it up.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Take it up. And we also have Christmas tree preservative, which is meant to be used with a tree. I know that some people think they should put sugar water or 7-Up or something in the water. That's not a good idea. Because that could attract insects or things you don't want in your house.
Yeah, nobody wants ants in their stocking.
Exactly.
Okay, so and then what kind of trees, Christmas trees, do we have?
We have Scotch pines, balsam, Douglas fir, nobles, Frasers. We have a whole list of them. We have several different kinds. I'd say we have about 10 different types of trees here.
Oh, okay, so pretty much every variety. Well, even though I'm a gardener, I'm ashamed to say that I don't know all of the different tree varieties. So I'm going to have you actually come down the aisle and help me and show me which one is which, and then tell me which ones are, better, which one's the advantages of one to the other, and maybe help me a little bit with my Christmas tree shopping.
Sure.
All right, great.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
Okay.
Thanks for the info. another one of my Hobo Riche picks for Home Depot. These are the candles that you always see in people's window, and this time you don't have to mess with all those dangling cords and try plugging them in underneath every window, and then you have to go every single night and re-plug them in so that they look good. These actually have a timer built in, so you just turn them on once at the time you want them on. They run for several hours and then they go off until the next day at the same time. So this is a great pick. To me, nothing says the start of Christmas more than a poinsettia. It's beautiful, it's red, it's green, it's those beautiful Christmas colors. You can get them in all sorts of sizes, styles, and price ranges here, starting as low as $8 going up. So this is a great Hobo pick. This particular one comes with some ivy in it and a decorative pot. Another tip is to always have a color scheme for the holidays. And this year mine is going to be gold and red, and so this pot could actually be spray painted either gold or red. A lot of people don't think about that. They just see the pot, they don't like it, it doesn't match. They don't think that just go down to the other aisle, get a can of spray paint, and spray it a different color to match your theme. Throw in a little bit of Spanish moss on the top, and then you've got that really Riche look. The right color, little Spanish moss, that'll dress it up. Another one of my top picks are these. These are battery operated candles. These are little votives that you can use so you don't have to worry about setting a fire. When you have your holiday party, just turn them on and keep them burning all night. They come in other sizes too, so if you want to have any size candle or even taper, they've got those as well. Here's another one of my picks, pine cone ornaments. Now if you don't have time to make your own, you can always buy them pre-made and pre-strung. And here they have silver or gold. This year my color scheme is gold and pine cone, so this would be perfect. Another one of my picks would be to buy a tree skirt here. Nobody ever thinks to get it here, but actually if you're here getting your other supplies, why not get your tree skirt here? And they actually do have a few nice styles in my color scheme. Another Hobo Riche tip is live plants. It ends up lasting a lot longer than fresh cut flowers, but it can be just as beautiful and it can smell really great. This is a fresh rosemary tree, so this is beautiful for Christmas, but then you can pop it in your kitchen after that. If you get a fresh herb, you can even use it in your cooking. So it's got two uses. This is English ivy, it's really cute and decorative, and these come in nice pots as well, so this is a good pick. Another one that I like that smells really good are paper whites. These are bulbs, and again, you can put this in a cute pot, you can spray paint it, whatever you want to do, add a little Spanish moss, you know, dress it up a bit, but these just smell delightful, so people love these. Any of these options look great on a fireplace mantle or as a centerpiece. I'm going to show you how to make a garland out of something you would probably never have thought of to use for a garland, and that is rope. So the type of rope that we want is actually this. It's more of a natural fibrous looking rope, and we're going to use this to make a beautiful garland that can be used on our tree, your fireplace mantle, or even a tabletop arrangement. Here's another one of my top picks, red berries. These are beautiful to add to any centerpiece, table arrangement, your mantle, your outdoor pots, any floral arrangement. These are a must at Christmas time. Here are another two more of my top picks. This is a fresh boxwood wreath. Boxwood is an evergreen also, but a lot of people don't think of using this type of wreath. You usually see the traditional classic evergreen, but I like the boxwood. It's just something different. You can switch the bow out to a different color as well. The other pick I have is this fresh garland. It's very inexpensive here at Home Depot, and this is a great pick. Now here's something cute I've never seen before, a little baby mini poinsettia. This would make a great gift idea for somebody in the office, and they could leave it on their desk, a little hint of Christmas, or maybe on your kitchen windowsill. Anytime something's free, I like it. And it's also the Hobo way. So one thing that you can get free at Home Depot is the tree scrap trimmings from the bottom of your Christmas tree. It's always a good idea to use these either in your outside urns or in floral decorations inside the house. So they leave them in a big box outside, and you can take as many of these as you want home to do some of your floral arranging. Now I'm going to show you how to make an original Christmas tree topper. The original design was inspired by my Christmas tree topper, which is a star made out of twigs and branches, and then it was sprayed gold. My son picked it out when he was little, so I have to keep using it. But I thought I can use that design as inspiration to make something that you can make yourself at home. And the best part, it's free, using objects that you already have lying around the house. So here's what the finished product is going to look like. It is a star, and it's just tied together using wire. So you can use any kitchen twist ties that you find in garbage bags or any floral wire, and then spray paint, and while the paint is wet, just sprinkle on a little glitter. So here are the items that we're going to use. Some glue, spray paint, and glitter. And if you don't have twigs and branches, maybe you live in the city, you don't want to make one like that, or you don't have the wire, there's no excuses, you need a tree topper. So I thought, what does everybody have lying around the house? And this one I made out of chopsticks. And so we just glued the chopsticks together, and then we used the yarn and just sort of twisted that all around the chopsticks, and then sprayed it and added the glitter. And if you don't do takeout and you don't have chopsticks, I thought, what is something that everybody has lying around? And I thought, everybody has plastic silverware, so you can glue together a star out of plastic knives. That is such a great reuse of an item. And then we did the same thing with the yarn, wrapped it all around, and spray painted. Now, this one's a little bit more hobo than some of the other ones. I like the one out of twigs better, but it's better than nothing, and the best part is that it's free. And that's what it's going to look like on your tree. I'm going to teach you how to make a beautiful garland for your Christmas tree using the rope that we just bought at Home Depot and some other found and inexpensive objects. Here's what the finished garland is going to look like. So here's the rope, some found objects of pine cones and ribbon, and this is what it looks like. So the first thing that we're going to do is take the ribbon. This is some red ribbon that I found at a craft store, or some gold that I found at an outlet discount center. And it's okay to alternate colors. It can be, you know, all red, all gold, depending on your color scheme, or we can alternate and that'll look beautiful on the tree. So the ribbon, we're going to cut it into about a 12 or 13 inch long piece. You can eyeball it, you can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, whatever you like. And you simply bring the two ends together, push it together like this, and then pinch it. And then take some wire, and it helps to make the wire look in the shape of a V, and so that'll just slip right there on the middle of the bow. And then just twist it like you would any kitchen twist ties, which actually if you don't have floral wire, you could use kitchen twist ties. And then take another piece of ribbon, pre-cut the same length, and simply bring that right on top of the ribbon, so it's a V and under, so they're approximately the same length. Same thing, just pinch and then take that little twist tie and twist it around the two ends of the bow and around to the back, and then we're going to twist it again. And there we have the bow. So it's a beautiful and easy way to make a bow. This is great for putting on your Christmas presents as well. And the next step is adding the pine cone. So for the pine cone, we're going to want a longer piece of wire, approximately 6 inches long, and simply press that through all of the grooves on the pine cone. Bring it around to the back. Now you're going to have these two long tails hanging out, and simply put that one end on either end of the bow, the knot on the bow, so the pine cone's in the center. Bring it around to the back. Again, press it together and do the twist tie thing. So twist it. And now you are going to have your pine cone with the bow, with the two ends that make it really easy to tie it onto the rope. So with your rope, you want to measure approximately 20 inches between the two pine cones. So you want to have a little bit of swag here so that when it's hanging on your tree, that adds a little bit of decoration instead of it being real tight. So about 20 inches. Now I found these great little gold beads in a dumpster along with these other little Christmas berries, and they're going to come in really handy. So I used it to mark my measurement of 20 inches, and the two little tails that are sticking out of the pine cone bow are going to go right there on the rope. Again, one more little twist. And now those two little beads are going to be part of the decor, but also that is going to be our guide to put it onto the branches of the Christmas tree, and at the end of the season when we want to take it off, we know that these are the two that we twisted around on the tree, so it's going to be really easy to take on and off year after year. All of the items that we're using in our garland were either found or very inexpensive. This ribbon I found at a craft store, and it was very inexpensive, and all of these pine cones I actually found. My son and I were out on a bike ride, and we saw this huge pine tree, and all the pine cones were on the ground underneath. And so we gathered them all up and collected them and brought them home. And we didn't know what we were going to use them for at the time, but now the Christmas season is upon us, and I realized what better place than to use them right on the Christmas tree, another pine tree right where they came from. So it's beautiful, it's a piece of nature, It's free, and it looks great with the natural rope that we bought at Home Depot. And so there you have it, a beautiful garland for your Christmas tree, or you can use it on your fireplace mantle or on a tablescape in your dining room. And we're going to show you one other great location that you can use them. Now here's a great gift idea that's easy to make yourself at home, and it's sure to delight and restore the spirit of all of the receivers. I call it my restorative bath soak. And I also have a lavender facial spritz that you can make as well. They're a great companion gift. So I'm going to show you how to make this. So the first thing you're going to do is get some Epsom salt, just any generic Epsom salt. It's 100% natural mineral, so it's fabulous to soak in the tub with. So you're going to open this up, pour the whole thing into a mixing bowl. Okay, so after you've dumped in the entire container of Epsom salt, then you're going to take your essential oil, and peppermint and lavender are the two most popular scents, so that's what I like to use. And since it's Christmas time, I'm going to use peppermint. It smells so good. So just start pouring that in there. You really can't make a mistake. There's not such thing as too much essential oil. And then just start stirring it in. You'll see that the salt is going to get a little bit wet looking and a little bit shiny. And so just keep pouring that in. If you don't know how to measure it, or you're concerned that you're going to put in too much or too little, just do like a big spiral around the outside of the bowl and work your way in, and then you know you've probably got enough. And then stir it up. You know, you should smell a strong aroma of whatever scent you're using, and that's how you know you've put in enough. So a lot of times when I'm cooking or doing crafts, I like to just eyeball it or guesstimate. You don't always have to measure. Okay, so then once we've got that stirred up real nicely, we're going to put it into our containers. Now, the containers are something that you can find at home. Everybody has jars left over in their kitchen. So here's one that I had, actually a pickle jar, and any other jars. It's fun to use different shapes and sizes, or even an empty wine bottle is great at Christmas time. Or if you don't have anything lying around and you need to buy something, there are beautiful containers you can find, like this one. That doesn't even need a label. This one I found at a garage sale. This is really cute. And so any type of glass jar or bottle container works beautifully. Here's one that I did, and on the top I simply put an old-fashioned handkerchief with the ribbon around it. So let's start putting it in. So I like to use a funnel just because it's a little bit neater. We start just scooping that in. Now that your jar is full and the lid is on, all we need to do is decorate the jar beautifully. You know, these old handkerchiefs you might have laying around, or you can find these at garage sales or antique stores too. That's a beautiful addition for the lid. And then simply just tie a bow around the jar. So I think on mine, since it's a peppermint soak and it's Christmas time, I'm going to use a red label. As far as the labels go, you can buy pre-made, pre-printed beautiful labels like these. Here's some other styles available if you want to get really fancy. And here's something new that just came out. It's actually a chalk label. And so you can write the name of what's in the jar right there on the chalk. This is kind of nice if you're giving a gift to a guy. So here's a sample of one that I did with the chalk. And I like to pair these with a little essential oil, and I can show you how to do that in a minute. And so just to show you how easy this is and that you can actually use one of these generic shipping labels, I'm going to make a little red design similar to the store-bought label. And I'm just going to pop that right on the jar. So let's see if we can get that on. It's very simple. And now for the lid, I'm going to use this handkerchief technique, but with just a piece of square red fabric, because it is so nice and Christmassy, and then just tie a bow right around it. I find sometimes it's easier to actually adhere it with a rubber band first and then tie the ribbon on top, and sometimes that hides the rubber band, or you can just snip the rubber band off when you're done. So now we just want to kind of center the bow and the fabric so that it looks nice. And I like to tie it sort of like the way you would tie a scarf, so that the top knot of the bow looks good. can just fluff it out a little bit like that. So there you have it, your peppermint soak to restore your spirit. When you're giving a gift of a peppermint soak, it's always nice to accompany it with a little bit of peppermint spritz, which is aromatherapy. And this is so easy. You can buy these containers for about 99 cents. And they also come in purple if you're doing lavender. And so all you do is fill it with water. This one's already filled. And then take your essential oil and just put about 5 or 6 drops right into the bottle. Mix it with the water. And then pop the sprayer back on the top. And there you have it. A wonderful smelling, if it spritzes, a wonderful smelling aromatherapy. I like to spray it right on my face. That's what they do in Europe. And then, of course, don't forget to put a cute label and bow on the bottle to match with your bath salts. Now here's another great homemade Christmas gift idea, and I actually did this last year and gave it to everybody. And it's very inexpensive, and it can even be free using more objects that you have laying around your house. So what this is, it is homemade spices. So I like to dry my spices and herbs myself that I grow in my garden, so there's no cost involved at all. This is oregano, and this one over here is sage. And so we're going to pop these into some beautiful containers as a Christmas gift. So here's an example of the finished product. So this is actually the jar I'm going to use. These jars you can find in your own spice cabinet, and when you run out of a spice, you can just take the label off and reuse it. And so here's some that actually had spices in it, and I just soaked them in water to take the labels off. So these are very basic and cute. Or you can find interesting containers at garage sales. I found these cute ones at a garage sale, so these are perfect to put spices in. And then you can buy some basic containers like this for about $1, 99 cents I think these were. For these I just put in some salt and pepper. So even if you don't grow your own herbs, you can use store-bought spices, or you can even buy them in bulk in these big containers. And so for this display in the middle, I actually am going to give this as a pizza accompaniment gift. So it's got some Parmesan cheese, some crushed red pepper, some garlic, seasoned salt, and of course the oregano. So when we take the herbs, we simply hang them to dry near a warm place, so like by the oven is fabulous. And you can buy these herbs for just a few dollars in one small little container, and they multiply very quickly year after year. And so after just a couple of years, you're going to have 2 huge bushes of oregano. That's enough to make about 10 spice containers. And so when it's nice and dry like this, after you've picked it, you simply start, squishing it and breaking it, and all the dried leaves and branches are going to go into your bowl. And it smells really good. So you have to be careful not to get any of the big twigs or branches. I mean, you can eat them, it won't hurt you, but it will make your pizza or your spaghetti a little bit crunchy. So be careful. And then if you have any branches in here, just pull those out. Now, I want to point one thing out when you make your own fresh herbs like this. When you buy a store-bought oregano, this is the color of it. And when you make it yourself, look how green it is. That is so much fresher, more delicious, and it just smells wonderful. So there's a big difference there. And so I'm going to put it in this cute little container that I put a little label on for oregano. And then I'm simply going to put that in there. You can use your funnel again, but a little bit quicker with the hands. Be sure not to get any of those big branches in there. So there is a beautiful container of oregano. It makes a wonderful Christmas gift. And if you think it's too small of an item for Christmas, what I like to do with this is actually add a recipe that uses the spice or herb in it. And so what I did last year is I put my killer spaghetti recipe with the spice. And that is a beautiful accompaniment to your herb. Here's a simple and elegant way to dress up our dining table using the garland that we just made. It's also an inexpensive way because a lot of these are either found objects or things that we got for free at Home Depot. This is the Christmas tree sprig from the bottom of our Christmas tree, the branches that we reuse here. This is the beautiful garland that we made with found pine cones. And this is actually a container that I found in a dumpster, spray painted it gold to use for our tablescape. So this is simple, elegant, beautiful, and inexpensive. Here's another simple and easy technique that you can do at home. This is the rosemary topiary that we bought earlier at Home Depot, and I wanted to disguise that orange clay pot because that wasn't the right color for the holidays. And so what I did was I cut a grocery bag, a paper grocery bag, turned it inside out, cut it into a square, and just wrapped it around the clay pot. And then I used a very simple rubber band, the type that your mail comes wrapped around in, and adhered that. Also, I added a little bit of Spanish moss in here to dress it up. Now this works because we're going with some natural look with the pine cones and the rope, and so this blends really nicely. And here we have the free Christmas tree sprigs from the bottom of our tree, and some red berries, and some more found pine cones. Beautiful. Here's another great way to use the garland that we just made on the staircase banister. Here I added a brighter, snazzier bow so it would really jump out against the dark woodwork. And then I clipped with clothespins all of the Christmas cards I've been receiving this year. So when you don't know what to do with those cards, here's a beautiful way to display them. Over in the corner is a large floral that I created using the Christmas tree sprigs and berries from Home Depot. The container that the floral is in was also a dumpster find, and I just spruced it up a bit with some gold paint on the embellishments. An important point during the holidays is family tradition. So I like to incorporate family traditions that were around when I grew up. This is an Advent wreath. When you light the candles, the musicians and dancers spin around. Over here are two little Christmas trees that my mom made. So I like to put these things out during the holidays as well. And hopefully these are traditions that my children will pass on as well. A key element to Hobo Riche decorating is keeping it simple yet elegant, understated, and refined. Another decorating tip is to always start with your color scheme in mind. So this year for Christmas, I decided to go with a gold, red, and white color palette. And here you can see some of the beautiful florals that I purchased at Home Depot. Not too long ago, I found several items in a dumpster at the TV station, and I decided to challenge myself and repurpose all of them for today's episode. So I found some vases, and this is one, and I spray painted it gold to go with our color palette. And there's another one at the other end of the mantle. I also found other objects such as candles, candlestick holders, and a few miscellaneous Christmas supplies. These are some of the beautiful florals that I found at Home Depot that are in my color palette. These are the leftover Christmas tree branches from our Christmas tree, some red berries that we also purchased, and I wanted to use some natural and found objects in decorating today, so I added some pine cones here in the center, and that adds some of the white that's in our color palette. These are actually homemade stockings that I made for my kids out of felt. Here is that cute little poinsettia that we saw in Home Depot, and I found a perfect spot for it right here on my coffee table. On these candles, I wanted to add some colors that are in our palette today, and so I clipped on these cute little bird ornaments right onto the candle. Here's that mini little cypress that we thought was so cute in Home Depot, and so I wanted to add that into the arrangement as well, and I just added some pine cones to stick with the natural elements and the color of white to create all of our colors in our palette today. Here's our beautiful finished Christmas tree. From the star on the top to the beautiful pine cone garland that we made. And this is another Hobo Riche tip, finding your Christmas tree ornaments at a garage sale. So our tree is very simple and elegant. It only has the garland and these red ball ornaments that I found. Even the way we wrap the presents is a cost-saving tip because we did it in paper bags. The holidays always restore my spirit, and when I can do it without breaking the bank, it's even better. I'm Janet Cole, and this has been Restoration of Spirit. Merry Christmas.
Restoration of Spirit has been brought to you by Oscar Isberian Rugs, with locations in Chicago, Evanston, and Highland Park, Illinois.